Alright, let's continue. So again, I'm coming to the head and making some tweaks with the head. Try to make it as straight as possible. Maybe just again playing with the shape. Let's go a little bit around it over here. Maybe this goes a little bit front. And just coming to the top and taking out the shapes a little bit. There we go. Okay. I want this shape of kind of a flatten over here. Maybe pushing a little bit. Go. Take the neck a little bit out so it's not that much skinny. Kind of a bulky, kind of a T-Rex, and maybe this goes and just cutting out the geometry. Again, trying to make this around it as much as possible. This looks nice. Okay, maybe just a little bit playing with the hair. Smoothing out to keep things flattened. So it should look very flattened over here. And adding for the jawline, especially the lip area. Kind of straighten up this area, the chin. Okay, let's turn on the perspective, hit the F and see what shapes we are having it. Let's go to the dimming standard, adding the nasal phobia. Okay, maybe I can do redynamish over here. There's the spots, and that's completely fine. And this generally comes with the thin mesh. You can see over here, there's a thin mesh over here. In order to fix this, first thing we need to make sure we are using the brush, and then I'll go to the auto masking and click on the backface mask. So this one needs to be turned on. I generally use 99%. This turns on, and what it does is if I just sculpt this area, there's not going to affect on the back side over here. So if I sculpt it too pressurely, I guess You will see sometimes it comes, sometimes it don't, but you will see there's an effect going on the back side which we don't want. So generally I keep this turned on so this doesn't affect on the back side of the faces, so it masks out that area. Now you can see there's a thin mesh over here as well, and it comes with the Dynamesh, so that's completely fine. We can go to the inflate brush and just inflate that area and just re-Dynamesh it and just smooth it out. Holding down shift, just do an inflate over here, smooth it out, and there we go, it's gone. Let's do the same over here, inflate and smooth it out that area. Okay, so generally you want to keep this on. So I'm going to do a little bit inflate over here and just smooth this out, this area, to make it flat. Now, it's probably going to affect this area as well. So we're going to re-Dynamesh and just go to the trim dynamic and we're going to start to flatten out. There we go. So we have a nice flatten this edge over here. However, I need a deep cut over here, so I'll try to make a deep cut. And since now we are using the back face, so it's not going to affect on the back side. That's the beauty of this. So let's keep doing it. And there we go. I'm gonna smooth this out, this area. There we go. Now I'm trying to make a good transitions from eyebrow to the nasal, and should be a good transition from over here, especially the nose area. Should look nice. There we go. Okay. Right. Side by side checking my reference as well. This part can be a little bit up. Just a little. This part goes digging, kind of a digging in this area because this part comes out pretty dramatically over here. It gives kind of a devil look, I guess. That's why it's kind of a dangerous to look at them, I guess. So this side goes out and this part comes down, especially this head area. We need to do it carefully. Don't make it push it too much. Oops. Make sure I'm in the clay buildup. Let's do a re-Dynamesh. Just giving some volume. Make sure it's not too thin, this part. Go into trim dynamic. Again, setting up my planes. Keep adjusting that. There we go. And I'll try to make a good transitions over here. Just make sure planes comes out nicely. Going to my move brush, just make it a little bit more rounded. Too much, but just a little, so it blends out nicely. Make sure there's a kind of a rounded over there. And I'll make this a little bit more dramatically coming out these spikes. There we go. I'll just make this ends up over here. I don't want this transitions come to the tip over here. I want this comes nicely in this part, especially in this part comes nicely. So what I'm looking at right now over here, these angles, which represent kind of a spiky look onto the nose. Adding some volume over here as well. There we go. And now we are getting somewhere. Right, looks good. Maybe a little bit more jaw. Okay. There's kind of a rounded head over here, which make sure to keep that. And it's kind of a tip. So it's kind of a tip. I don't know, but I think the scientist says that dinosaurs become the birds, so it's still a mystery. So maybe they were. So but there's kind of a chicken head over here, frankly speaking. So you want to make sure that to create that chicken head. Now I'm not saying the velociraptor is the chicken. Maybe. Who knows? There we go. Let's clean up the from the bottom. And so if you have seen any like a crocodile, they have a kind of a two skin. The upper skin goes all the way over here from this part, not even covering the legs. It goes through under the leg and goes like that. Now in some movies you might see in Velociraptor doesn't have two skins, but they in some movies they do have. So it's kind of a confusing. So in this way you need to figure out what kind of a style that you are looking for it. You have to hit the references, find a good reference that suitable for you or for your movie or the games. Just watch the reference and study them, and whatever you find the perfect for you, just go ahead. Now there's a little bit thin mesh, so I'm adding a little bit volume over there. There we go. And smooth it out completely. There we go. Okay. We can do some test render to find out how it's looking from this angle. And if you want it a little bit dramatic, what you can do is go to the draw and you can change the perspective over here. So these are your lens over here. So I'm using the 24mm lens. And if I hit the render button, now since we changed some settings in the rendering, it takes a little bit of time. And there we go. Probably wondering why don't we see the shadows, and that is because of the back reference, which I'm going to fix it later. However, we're not going to do the renders over here, so it's just a quick way to check up. But using this lens will add more distortion, so I generally go with the 50 or maybe 85. I'm happy with 85, I guess. So it gives me the less distortion so I can fix the issues nicely. It allows me to see the perfect way. There we go. Let's increase the resolution a little bit. So right now we were using the 360. Let's bump it up maybe 480 and redynamish it. Since there's a requirement now. Now slowly I'm increasing the resolution. That means slowly we're going to increase the details over here. And I would suggest go slowly in the beginning. There we go. Just keep adding the muscles. And that's what I love about the clay buildup. It looks like there are some muscles going on, like layer by layer. That just add the layer by layer, so it really nicely comes out. There's a little bit bump over there, and then smooth it out. There we go. So I want to make sure I'm not pushing it too much. Just a little bit dip. Maybe the legs go a little bit in. I want to keep that rounded, but also want to dip in. Nice and easy. That's the beauty. We are in the perspective, but still see the orthographic. And it's a good transition, you know. Still have the perspective, but still have the orthographic at the same time. Go. So I'm smoothing out everything. Since we are in the high resolution, we don't have to worry about the shape, losing the shapes over here. However, the texture has been gone, so I'm going to bring out the texture again. And the reason behind why I do the push and pull method is that allows me to see the muscles again with the more stronger, you know, in a way to make them perfect. So for example, this area, the rib cage, you can see it's pretty smooth out, but I can add 2 rib bones over here to get a general idea sense of, okay, there's a rib bone, there's a rib bone going around it this way. And then I can smooth it out again. And you can see it comes out nicely. Just keep playing and just smooth it out, and you can see it visible over there. That's the beauty of the. So if you notice, I'm kind of adding the transition in between. So I'm not brushing all the way up like that. So I'm brushing in the small stroke. So I can make kind of a transition over here. You can see there's a transition this way and also this way. So it kind of adds the layer on top of each other mesh. So it gives me the kind of give me that, okay, this part is another joint, this part is another joint. And it also look like a muscles because muscles are also based on this method. So always divide your model into the muscles and then start working on one by one muscles. And then you have the clear vision. So over here it's too much rounded. Gonna add flow, there we go. Just adding some bones over here. And then just digging in because there's kind of a dip over there. And again, adding the muscle flow. Again, there's a dip. Okay. Okay. I'm actually going to bring this down. I'm going to select this and invert the mask. I don't want the 2 fingers over here. I want actually 3 fingers over here. And don't worry about the 4th finger. We're going to create that as well. So let me do isolate everything. So Control Shift drag. There we go. Now we can hit the F, there we go. So we can mask this area holding down Control. And I'm going to hit the W, and my move tool is over there. So what I'm going to do is hold down Alt and click on this button, and this will goes on to the unmasked area, and then I can just rotate simply that. Then switching to my move tool, and just bringing out like that. Let's re-dynamesh. Okay, and it should be visible everything. So we're going to re-dynamesh. There we go. Let's bring it down more. Okay. And let me go to the inflate, just giving some a little bit thickness. And let's come to the down. I'll just push it back. It's okay if you go extreme, that's completely fine because you can do re-dynamesh. Push it upwards, re-dynamesh. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is hold on Control and just apply the mask over here. and then Control W. If we go to the poly wireframe, you can see it becomes a polygroup. Now there's a little bit extra, but that's completely fine. But if I hold on Control Shift Tab over here, you can see I got this finger, and I can remove this if I Control click, Control W to make a polygroup. Let me do it again. Control W. So make sure it's nicely selected. Control W. There we go. Now they are different polygroups. So I can Control Shift click and it's gone. And then I can Control Shift click to invert the isolation and Shift F. And let's do the same over here. Just doing the mask. Applying the mask all over there. And then hit Control, just let me do this one, Control W, Shift F, Control Shift click, and let's do the same over here. Control W, Control Shift click. There we go. So now we have the fingers, Control Shift drag, and we have this polygroup. So it's kind of a same group over here, but actually it's the same color it looks like, but they are the different polygroups. So I can just Control Shift click, Control Shift drag, and let me click and Control Shift click, Control W to make a different color of it. There we go. It looks fine. Shift F. Kind of stretch it out. And down Shift to smooth it out. Pull it down this one. Now, if you don't want to affect this one, you can hit the B key and switch to the Move Topology. It's going to affect only that topology, which is click on the first. For example, if I click over here, so you can see they are kind of close to each other, but if I click over here, this is going to affect only on this one. Go. It's not fine. So let's cut in the half. So Control Shift, and actually I want to check, kind of spread out these fingers nicely. Let me go to the Move Topology and let me spread it out. These fingers. And now Shift. I'm adding the geometry right now because later on I'm going to cut more like a slice. And then I'm going to start shaping them. But before that, I want to go to the Control Shift and let's come over here to the slice curve and Control Shift drag and hold down spacebar to move this and just let it go. Doesn't happen much, but if you hit the Shift F, you can see there are now some polygroups over here. So Control Shift click, 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 and click. So we have some open phases, and then again hit delete hidden, it's gone. Control Shift drag, and it's closed now. Okay. Let's do the bottom. Let's go to the clip curve this time. Drag over here, and there we go. Now it's totally flattened. Shift F, completely come out nicely. Then I can go to the clay buildup and just kind of make things a little bit more rounded rather than kind of a flatten over here. Just a bit. There we go. Gonna hit the S key, and since we need this nail, so I'm going to hit Shift F to see the polygroups, and I'm going to switch to my move tool and Control Shift click over here. So this becomes a mask, and this becomes like a selection over here. So I'm going to move this and place them on the right angle. There we go. and I can remove the mask. Now the fourth fingers will be coming out from this way, so we're going to make that one as well. There we go. Shift F, and I can switch now to the Dynamesh, giving some resolution 128 and Dynamesh. There we go. Let's do our Dynamesh over here. Shift F and make sure. I think it's not enough. We need to increase the resolution. And sometimes it doesn't apply, so you might do a little bit sculpting and then read animation. There we go. It's been applied. So sometimes it doesn't happen until you do some sculpting on it and then read animation. It works. So I don't want that much high, so I'm going to reduce this. Again, just doing a little bit sculpting, and there we go. It works. So this looks fine. And let me come out of it. There we go. Maybe just giving some perspective, like 35. And just hitting the render, PPR. See how it's going to look. Yeah, it's good. All right, let's continue in the next video.